Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 12, Chapter 22. Gurus, Not Teachers, Part 1 of 3. Education confers humility, endows one with an authority to command that will entitle one to affluence. With the help of this affluence, charity and compassion can be made fruitful, and by this means happiness in this world and peace in the next can be won. Education is thus a great constructive force for mankind, but reformers and reconstructionists have tinkered so much with the process of education that it has now been reduced to a caricature of itself. The effectiveness of the educational system and the boons it could confer on man have been ignored and neglected. The name is now given to the art of collecting information of the objective world. The far more important task of transforming the nature of man into the divine is given up as something beyond its reach. The difference between the ancient ideals of education and the modern practices is appalling. Today, the educational process is denied to the aspirant if he fails to pay his fees. The teacher too feels that he has no duty to teach if in a certain month he is not paid his salary. Students pay for being taught. Teachers are paid for the teaching they do. Money decides what is taught and how it is learned. Pay and receive, be paid and give. That is the bond between the teacher and the taught. Love, reverence, affection, these have no place in the transaction. How then can education be fruitful? Gokak said just now that when teachers love the children, they will be rewarded by the love of the children who sit around them. Now they are loved for the sake of the money they bring, and so the relationship is artificial and without roots in the heart. Heirs to the richest cultural heritage, the teacher and the pupil will both be immersed in joy. Only when love that does not calculate the reward binds them together. When material gain is the goal, the joy based is on matter and does not thrill the mind. It cannot be pure, steady, and sincere. As teachers of Bal Vikas classes throughout the country, you do not look forward to monetary or material benefits, and so you have ample opportunity to make the child's heart and intellect blossom through rays of love. Let me tell you that most teachers today have specialized in Western types of training, and so they have lost their moorings in our own culture, and so are unaware of the deeper springs of the spirit. They have been rendered materialistic, worldly, and egoistic. They are caught up in the pursuit of sensual pleasure and in the earning of money. They do not know that real education consists in helping the child to manifest the divinity latent in him. Remember that the children who come to you are all heirs to the richest cultural heritage that the world can give. They are children of immortality, extolled as such in the ancient texts by sages and scholars of this land. Do not turn them into experts in mathematics, unable to add up a simple domestic bill. or scholars in the geography of America, but unable to direct a pilgrim who desires to know in which direction Kashi lies, or prodigies in algebra who are helpless when asked to define the area of their own rooms. Some are past masters in drill and gymnastics, but they are lost when requested to sit in the Padmasana posture. Others are proficient in botany, but ignorant of the uses of the common tulsi plant found in the courtyard of every Indian home. They can draw realistic pictures of dogs and foxes, but their handwriting remains an illegible scribble. How can we expect that Indian culture will be preserved and fostered by these products of our educational system? The teachers who have brought them to this pass, and the educational administrators who devised the system are both equally to blame. Be aware of the high purpose of education. Correction of these faults must start with the teacher. They must become aware of the high purpose of education and the goal to which it must guide the children of the land. I know that great enthusiasm prevails today among both the pupils and the teachers of our Bal Vikas classes for the spiritual ideals cherished in this land since ages. Nevertheless, I must say that there is a great and urgent need for you teachers to receive training in the methods of child education. For example, when teaching the recitation of bhajans or poems or hymns, you have to pay attention to the correct enunciation of each sound and the correct pronunciation of each letter. Otherwise, the meaning is liable to be warped out of recognition. 3 words beginning with the letter R that are most neglected today. In olden times, teachers took particular care to explain to the pupils the origins and roots of each new word, even of words like sa and twam. They taught not only the meaning of the word, but delved into its roots and opened up before the pupil a vast vista of related words and a huge expanse of meaningful vocabulary. Since words in Indian languages get transformed when written or pronounced in conjunction with other words, there is a duty on you to teach how they are to be separately recognized and identified. Boys may write Ramunitoka Pivarudu Ittaniye, meaning Rama's tale, Pivara spoke thus, which is absurd. Instead of saying Ramunito Kapivarudu Ittaniye, which means with Rama the Lord of Monkeys spoke thus, which is quite correct. The word Shanta Pakodilu, which I once used to indicate the error involved when people desert the true path and pursue degrading objective pleasures, which I compared to the Pakodilu savories sold in Shanta village markets during fairs and festivals, for they attract by their color, have ruinous components and destroy health. Kasturi, who did not know much Telugu, divided the word into Shantapa and Kodilu, making the meaning absurd, for Kodilu means fowls and Shantapa like Pivarudu has no meaning at all, being a mere jumble of sounds. Unless training is given in reading aloud, with concurrent attention to the meaning of the words and phrases, such mistakes are bound to reoccur. The 3 words starting with the letter R are the most neglected skills today. Writing also has to be taught well, for the knowledge of the correct form of each letter has to be mastered by all. Or else, even here, a tiny slip might change a sublime idea into ridiculous jargon. Rishakoti, when written wrongly in Telugu as a consequence of the omission of a single upward curve, was once misshaped into bushcoat, and the whole sentence was rendered ridiculous thereby. Scrupulous care and steady attention alone can make the pupils avoid such errors. End of part 1 of 3, Rajamundry, January 3rd, 1974.